You really don't remember me, Ian? He shakes his head again, his beautiful ruby eyes staring brightly at me, just like they did the first time we met, all those years ago. Before the neglect, before the arguments, before the cheating, before he broke up with me. Who are you? Oh no! Hey all you cool creatures. I'm Cryptid. Welcome to the CryptidPlays YouTube channel. Today we are playing a game called Retrograde. These are the warnings. I will repeat them again in a bit, but player discretion is advised, viewer discretion is advised. Now, there was this absolutely wonderful little video as this started with a pretty song, but unfortunately I don't know if it is copyrighted or not, so I decided to kinda skip it. But you know, you can play this game if you want. I have it linked in the description. But this is Retrograde, and what it is about is that Ian wakes up in the hospital with the last 3 years of his life missing from his memories. Upon opening his eyes, he is greeted by a stranger that claims to be someone intimately close to him. But who is this stranger, and are they telling the truth? We play that stranger, Harper, Ian's ex, who is using this as an opportunity to start anew. So, this was made for Yaoi Game Jam, and the content warnings again include a hospital setting, infidelity, victim shaming, manipulation, and the full game will include social, emotional, and financial abuse, and a yandere. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Ooh. Oh yeah, our main character right here is gender fluid. We can be more feminine or more masculine. So we're gonna be a he, him, and look like that. Are you happy with your character selection? Yes. I've always hated the rain. It drowns out the voices of those that call for help and leaves them alone in the cold. Alone. That's how I've ended up again. But for a brief period of time in my life, I had someone to love. Someone that loved me. And finally, I felt like I wasn't alone. But I took it all for granted. I got used to the comfort of his company, his smile, his voice, his loving gaze. By the way, this takes place in Australia. Obviously, I'm not great at accents, so I'm not going to attempt to do an Australian accent. Just be aware. I expected him to prioritize me, to always put me first, just like I did him. But I was wrong. I wasn't a priority. Was I ever a priority? Is this where the victim blaming is coming in? I don't know. I just wanted him to look at me again. So I did something. Something stupid. Something to get his attention back. But it wasn't the right thing to do. At least we're aware of that. Why did I do it? How could I have done something so stupid? When he left, his hate-filled eyes burned a hole so charred that it scorched a terrible scar on my memories. I'll never forget it. Alone. That's how I've ended up again. I blow my nose and wipe the tears from my eyes before picking up my phone. Hello? Evening. This is CL from St. Daniel's Hospital. Am I speaking to Harper Vince? Yeah. You're listed as an emergency contact for Mr. Ian Ames. A lump begins to form in my throat. Ian only stormed off a few hours ago. How could something have already happened to him? What happened? He was hit by a car. My heart drops. This can't be happening. Why is this happening? No. No! No! I can't lose him. Not like this. Not after he just broke up with me. You said St. Daniel's Hospital, right? That's right. He's currently here in the emergency ward. I'll be right there. I end the call and rush towards the hospital on my motorbike, grabbing nothing but my jacket and helmet to shield me from the rain. Every red light, every raindrop on my visor, every annoying driver changing into my lane and slowing down. I won't let the universe stop me. I reached the hospital in record time and haphazardly park beside the entrance. Bursting through the doors, I frantically look for someone to help me. I spot a middle-aged woman staring listlessly at a computer screen behind the front desk. The soles of my drenched boots squeak as I bolt towards her. Ian Ames. She jumps in her seat when I slam both hands on the counter. Her eyebrows become knitted when I shout my boyfriend's, well, ex-boyfriend's, name. Where is Ian Ames? I need to know that he's okay. Excuse you, there's no need to be running around yell. Please, it's an emergency. The receptionist clicks her tongue. Look at where you are. Everything's an emergency here. Other patients moan and groan as they're wheeled around the emergency ward. A woman with an eye patch sits quietly in the corner. Next to her is a man with a bleeding arm. I grit my teeth. I don't have time to waste waiting for some nobodies to be taken care of. But causing a scene now wouldn't help me get to Ian any faster. Taking a deep breath to calm myself, I sigh as the receptionist rubs the bridge of her nose. Okay, from the top, calmly this time. You said you're looking for Ian Ames, correct? And he's a patient here? Yes. She begins typing at what feels like a sloth's pace on her keyboard. And your connection to Mr. Ames? I hesitate. Boyfriend? I'm going to need to see some ID. She taps her long fingernails on the keyboard as she waits for me to take out my wallet. She picks it up and gives it a once-over, narrowing her eyes at the photo before peering back at me. Your name is Harper, Vince. Yes. Can I see him now? The receptionist doesn't look too pleased at being rushed. Please. She lets out an unnecessarily loud sigh as she types something into the computer. He's in room 201. She places my ID back on the counter. I grab it before she can even lift up her fingers. Thank you. I turn to leave, but soon realize I don't know my way around the hospital. Room 201 is located on the second floor. Go up the elevator and it's 3 doors to the right. I bolt towards the lifts, ignoring her faint, sarcastic voice as she fades from my range of hearing. You're welcome. It feels like my heart could burst out of my chest at any moment now. The second floor is less hectic than downstairs. The room is eerily quiet, save for the rhythmic beeping coming from the monitor. I approach the familiar sleeping body lying on the bed. Seeing Ian's bandaged body underneath the hospital gown sends stings of guilt straight to my heart. It's all my fault he's like this now. And you didn't hit him with the car, even if he probably wasn't paying attention because he was angry. If I could take back the last few hours, no, the last few weeks of our lives, then I would. Memories of recent events replay in my head. The yelling, the crying, the hurtful words. I would take them all back. I would take everything back. So please, God, I'd do anything. Please, just let him wake up. I slowly make my way to the window and sit on one of the hard chairs. Staring back, I watch over Ian's unconscious body. I wish I could apologize, but I'll have to wait until tomorrow. Right now, in the silent darkness of the air-conditioned room, exhaustion creeps over me. My heavy eyes begin to close as one last thought passes my mind. Hopefully, Ian will forgive me. Ow, my neck. My body feels stiff upon waking up. Yawning, I stretch both arms over my head before rubbing my neck where the muscles ache. Why don't they make hospital chairs better? I should have brought a pillow. My groggy eyes shift towards Ian. He's still asleep, chest rising and falling with even breaths. How long has it been since I last watched him like this? Quietly, peacefully. My growling stomach cuts through my train of thought. I should eat something. I stand up and get ready to leave for the cafeteria when some muffled moaning grabs my attention. He stirs, slowly opening his eyes. Ian! I quickly rush to his bedside. His sleepy gaze eventually settles on me, and for the first time since last night, I breathe a sigh of relief. Ian, thank God you're awake. I wait and let him come to, giving him space to wake up. Where am I? I inch my hand closer to his, but I am reluctant to hold it. You're in the hospital. Hospital? He groggily looks around at his surroundings. Why am I in the hospital? Ian, you were in a car accident. He takes a moment for the words to sink in. What? An accident? But I was... Ian frantically tries to sit, but ends up clutching his chest in pain. He groans in agony, shutting his eyes tightly. Ugh. Ian, you should lie back down. You've been injured. He doesn't heed my words. Like a sudden downpour, a cold sheen of sweat forms on Ian's face. Panic fills his eyes as his shaking fingers grasp at the bedsheets, knuckles turning white. What happened to me? He groans again while hunching forward, clutching his right arm with his left. I reach for his shoulders. Ian, look at me. Let me. But he shoves my hands away, heavy breaths breaking the once peaceful atmosphere of the room. This is more than just his injuries. The sweat, the heavy breathing, the look on his face. He's having a panic attack. It's been a long time since he last had one. I should call for the nurse, but I refuse to leave him. Not again. I forcefully grab his shoulders, squeezing so hard I hear him wince at first. But I have to help him. He needs me. Let go of me. Let me. Look at me. His scared, wide eyes finally meet mine. He is still heaving, lips trembling. But this time, he doesn't push me away. Focus on breathing, Ian. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. I repeat the words over and over again, like a mantra. Inhale. Exhale. Ian finally listens to me, doing as he's told. It starts off rough. I can still hear his small grunts as he follows along. Good. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. You are doing good. As he continues to regulate his breathing, the shaking eventually ceases. Inhale. Exhale. And again. Inhale. Exhale. Good. It takes time, but minutes later his breathing has calmed again. Good, Ian. Good job. I am so proud of you. Well, I have to say, even though our main character has cheated, it seems he really does love Ian, or at least really cares about him. So that's kinda nice. He's not like a dick. He doesn't respond to my words, but his steady breathing lets me know that he'll be fine now. I slowly let go of his shoulders. His pale fingers unfurl, relaxing as he places both hands on his lap. Do you think you'll be okay now? He nods vacantly. Yes, I'm sorry about that. It's okay, Ian. It wouldn't be the first time I witnessed him having a panic attack. However, it has almost been a year since the last one. It's been a while since your last panic attack. I'm just glad we got through it together this time. A while? This time? Yeah. Last time you had one, I couldn't be there for you. Last time? Confusion fills his eyes. He focuses on his hands, trying not to let the panic resurface. I'm sorry, but, who are you? My stomach drops. What? Am I hearing him right? Have we met before? There's a lump in my throat. Come on, Ian. This isn't the time for jokes. His eyes show no sign of jest or lying. You really don't remember me? Ian shakes his head, his lips pressed into a hard line. I slam my hands on either side of Ian and lean over the bed, cornering him so that his eyes are fixated on me. You know, not very nice to do that to some guy who just had a panic attack. Only me. Ian, look at me. Don't be playing games now. It's me. Cowering against the hospital bed like a frightened little mouse, Ian's shaky eyes scan me up and down, but no sign of recognition is given. Sorry, I really don't know who you are. What is the meaning of this? How has he forgotten me? I reluctantly return to my seat, squeezing my right hand with my left, a coping mechanism I acquired at a young age. You're serious? He nods. I'm sorry. No. I shouldn't have scared you like that. My knuckles crack when I squeeze tighter than I realized. This happens often. What do you remember? The last thing I remember is... He lifts his hand to his temple, rubbing just above the spot where a bandage is plastered on his face. Oh, right. University. I was getting ready for the first day of university. I just finished packing my bag, and then he holds his head in both hands, straining to recall more. It seems that everything that transpired after that moment has been lost from his memory. Ugh, then what happened? He groans. The frustration of not remembering is evident on his face. That's the last thing I can remember. How long has it been since we first met? Back in that very first week of university together. 3 years? 4? All those years. All those memories. Gone. Every smile. Every date. Every kiss. Gone. Gone, gone, gone. All the laughs, all the arguments, all the fights, the screaming, the yelling, the cheating. Gone. You really don't remember me, Ian? He shakes his head again, his beautiful ruby eyes staring brightly at me, just like they did the first time we met, all those years ago. Before the neglect, before the arguments, before the cheating, before he broke up with me. Who are you? Oh no! Oh my god. I'm your boyfriend. Lie. My name's Harper, and I'm your boyfriend. If God has given me a second chance with Ian, then I will not squander this opportunity. My boyfriend? Ian blinks slowly, trying to process my words. We're dating? I smile sweetly, not even trying to hide how hopeful I am that he might believe me. Yes. But the way he raises his eyebrow suggests disbelief. You're lying. I've heard him say those words a lot the past few weeks. I've never dated anyone before. But it's the truth and I can prove it. I don't know. I can get all of them, I guess. Mention his favorite foods. Your favorite food is fruit. Melons in particular. That doesn't prove that we're dating, though. I guess not. Mention his family. You have a younger sister named Madalena, who you adore and get along with. Unlike your parents, who you always felt you were a disappointment to, no matter what you did. That's not entirely true. Mention his dreams and aspirations. Your dream is to become a scientist and work for the Cancer Research Center. You were basically raised by your grandparents. You loved them, and they loved you. You were especially close to your grandma, but when you were in high school, your grandma was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer and passed away soon after. You wanted to save her, so against your parents' wishes, you applied for a degree in science and aimed to find a cure for cancer. How do you know all that? Because you told me. You tell me everything, Ian. We're dating. I reach for his hand, grasping it slightly. He stares at the sudden contact, but doesn't withdraw. It feels so good to hold hands like this again. We're really dating? The disbelief he once harbored is now replaced with pure curiosity. We've been dating for around 3.5 years. 3.5 years? How is that possible? You said the last thing you remember is getting ready to go for uni for the first time, right? He nods. That was nearly 4 years ago. You already graduated last year. Fear momentarily fills his face again. When I feel his grip tighten, I reciprocate the gesture, reassuring him that even though his memories are gone, I am still present. I won't let him go again. Never again. Ian, it's okay. Just look at me. Everything is going to be okay. He takes slow and deep breaths, focusing on our hands as he does so. 4 years? Why can't I remember anything? I'm only speculating here, but you might have amnesia from the accident. His grip tightens. The accident? What happened? I can't tell him that he drove off in the rain after breaking up with me. No. I have to think of something else. Something plausible. Something that he'll believe. I mean, you could say it was driving in the rain and someone hit him, or he lost control. Now we can be an asshole. Oh no. Oh no. You're a terrible driver. Blame. It was dark and stormy last night, and you've always been a terrible driver. What? When we first met, you didn't have your license yet. I was the one who taught you how to drive. And to be frank, you were a difficult student. Ian opens his mouth to defend himself, but after realizing he can't be sure whether or not I'm telling the truth, which I actually am in this case, he decides to keep his mouth shut. You lack confidence in your driving, just like in many other areas of your life. Ian's hand grows cold before he slips it out of my grasp. Fuck. I need to fix this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I was just so angry when I got the phone call. Do you have any idea how I felt hearing that you were in a car accident? That you could have been hurt? I wanted to cry. Maybe if I had done a better job teaching you how to drive, we wouldn't be here right now. Silence cloaks the room. Fiddling with the string of his hospital gown, Ian keeps his eyes down as he thinks to himself, It's not your fault. His voice is so meek I could barely hear him. You weren't to know that I would be in an accident. My shoulders relax with a sigh of relief. I'm glad to see that Ian will still forgive me as long as I apologize. He's always been the compassionate type. I love that about him. I reach for his hand again, slowly, carefully. His skin feels cold and lifeless, the only sign of vivacity being the slight twitch of his fingers when they come in contact with mine. Thank you, Ian. I'm so glad you understand. I'm still struggling to believe that we're dating, though. Why is it so hard to believe? A pause followed. Ian pressed his lips, dampening the parched skin. For as long as I can remember, I've been a disappointment to my parents, my so-called friends, the people I've had crushes on in the past. I've never been good enough for them, never smart enough, never fast enough, never charming enough. I've already resigned myself to not being enough for anyone. Wait, I know this speech. I heard it 1,000,000 times before. What he says next is, I just can't be the perfect. You don't need to be perfect, Ian. We've done this so many times. I already know what to say. I know you think you have to be perfect to deserve any sort of love in return, but that's not true. I don't give a damn about your family's legacy or how much money you make. I love you for you. You're smarter than you give yourself credit for, and your eyes are like two beautiful shimmering gems. How do I know you were bullied because of your eyes? Because I'm your boyfriend. You think you have flaws that make you unlovable. Well, guess what, Ian? I still love you. Flaws and all. Let me love you. His ruby red eyes glimmer with hope at my well-rehearsed words. They're more enamored than the last time. I see. Thank you, Harper. The corner of his lips curl into a shy smile as he starts to fall back in love with me again. Alright, well, now we'll get the other choices, including being a good person. So, see you in a minute. Alright, I should have stopped you, Kitty. It was my fault when I saw how heavy the rain was last night. I should have asked you to stay. I should have stopped you from leaving. But I didn't. It's all my fault. I instinctively bite down on my lower lip. The pain causes tears to swell in my eyes, enough for a single teardrop to roll down my cheek. Wait a minute. Please, don't blame yourself. You weren't to know that I would be in an accident. None of this is your fault. I peer up at Ian with wet eyes, a thin smile creeping its way across my lips. You really don't blame me, Ian? No, of course not. If anything, I'm grateful that you're here with me now. Even though I've forgotten you, Harper. Harper. Even though I've forgotten you, you haven't given up on me yet. My shoulders relax with a sigh of relief. I'm glad Ian will still forgive me as long as I apologize. You seem like a very caring boyfriend. A chuckle escapes my lips. I am. I care a lot about you, Ian. More than you'll ever know. Maybe I'll come to learn how much you care again. I gently brush my thumb against the back of Ian's hand. The warmth I feel lets me know that he enjoys it. He always has, after all. I hope so. I'm still struggling to believe that we're dating, though. Why is it so hard to believe? Okay, so this is gonna be the same. So we'll go on to the better answers saying, hey, we're actually your ex. Alright. Let's be a better person and tell the truth. I'm your ex. My name's Harper, and I'm your ex. The road that led us down this path, Ian dumping me and rushing out last night, it all started because I lied to him. I won't make that same mistake twice. My ex? Ian slowly blinks, giving himself time to process what I just said. Yeah, we broke up recently. Raising an eyebrow, his thin lips drop into a cautionary frown. It becomes evident that he doesn't believe me. But who can blame him when you wake up in a hospital to a stranger claiming to be an ex-lover? You're lying. I've heard those words before, but it hurts even more now that I'm actually telling the truth. I've never had a boyfriend before. Ian, you said the last thing you remember is getting ready to go for uni for the first time, right? He nods. That was nearly 4 years ago. You already graduated last year. Fear fills his face again. What? He tightly shuts his eyes and grits his teeth. I jump to his side and take his hands before he can have another attack. His palms are cold and clammy. Surprisingly, he doesn't fight me this time. Breathe. Take your time, Ian. I know this is a lot to take in. He does as he's told, gaze focused on our hands, as his chest expands and deflates with every deep breath. Why don't I remember? His desperate eyes look to me for answers. I'm only speculating here, but you might have amnesia from the accident. His grip tightens. Why is this happening? You shouldn't be driving. Let's see how much of that is the same. It was dark and stormy last night, and you've always been a terrible driver. What? You probably don't remember this, but I was actually the one who taught you how to drive. Okay, this seems to be the same. I'll skip ahead and see how this ends. Okay, so this is already a tiny bit different. Ian stares at me with scrutiny before slowly slipping his hands out of my grasp. What does my driving have to do with anything? Here we go again. We've had this argument several times in the past. Maybe now that he's been injured, he'll actually listen to what I have to say. I'm saying this isn't your first car accident. You've been in at least 3 since I've known you. Fortunately, they were all minor accidents and you walked away unharmed. But something serious like this was bound to happen eventually. Maybe you're just a terrible teacher. I heard that. Look, Ian, you're an anxious driver and hesitate to change lanes even at the best of times. You don't do your head checks properly and have bigger blind spots than a deaf bat. I've told you time and time again that you should get yourself a new car. Something with driver assist and built-in cameras. Or let me drive you to wherever you need to go. I let out an exacerbated sigh before continuing. But you don't listen to me, and this is where it gets you. I gesture wildly to our surroundings with both hands. The sound of the monitor and hospital staff rushing past the door can be heard faintly. Ian struggles to find the words for his defense. He was never good at standing up for himself. His fists clench tightly at the bedsheets as he turns to face away. I'm starting to see why we broke up. We sit in awkward silence, the air between us heavy. When did it become so hard to talk to him? He stares at me blankly, already forgetting my name. Harper. Yes, Harper. I'm still having a hard time believing all of this. It's a lot to take in. Can I ask you some questions? Sure. Hopefully I can alleviate some of his concerns. How did we meet? I think back to almost 4 years ago, a week after uni started. I was looking for a housemate to split the cost of rent, and you were the first to apply. Hello, I'm Ian. We spoke on the phone. Harper, come on in. You were so nervous. I couldn't understand why, until you explained it would be your first time moving out of home. How do we decide who does which chores? We can take turns or split them evenly. I'm fine with whatever. Oh, right. That makes sense. And, who pays for food and toiletries? Buy your own food. We can split the cost of toilet paper and whatever. Okay. And when is mealtime? Mealtime? Yes. Won't we be eating together? Why would we? I normally eat by myself. Oh, I see. You looked so disappointed, like a sad puppy that just got kicked to the ground. I think you probably had this idea that living away from home with a roommate was going to be all fun and games. But at the time, I was just looking for someone to split rent. The first few nights we cooked and ate our own meals, keeping to ourselves. But that Friday, I had an assignment to submit and skipped lunch. When I finally submitted it, I was too tired to cook dinner. I could smell the food you were cooking, and almost like a moth drawn to a flame, my body wandered on its own into the kitchen. You took one look at me, mentally exhausted and starving, and offered to share your dinner. Even after so many years, I still remember that first meal. One pot pasta with tomato, bacon, and basil. Sounds good. You claimed it was nothing fancy, just something your grandma taught you. But God, it was delicious. After that, we ate dinner together once a week. Once a week turned into twice a week, then 4 times a week. Then we started eating breakfast together too. Eating together eventually turned into shopping together. We started commuting to and from university together, even though our classes didn't always line up. We started spending all our time together, and when you weren't around, I was incredibly lonely. When I asked you if we should start dating, you were shocked. You had such low self-esteem that you tried to convince me not to date you. You even cried when I told you I wanted you to be my boyfriend. Huh, look at us now. Now I'm the one in tears. It feels like a lifetime ago. God, how long have I been talking for? Are you okay? Yeah, just remembering how things used to be with you. I inhale a slow breath, gathering enough courage to push the next few words out of my chest. With the Ian that I used to know. Ian sits quietly, letting my words sink in. I've seen enough amnesia movies to know there's a very high chance he won't regain his memories. If that's the case, then the man that I lived with, fell in love with, and hurt, he no longer exists. And the person sitting in front of me right now is not my Ian. I'd like to hear more about the Ian that you used to know. For you to cry, you must have really loved me. Him, you must have really cared about him. Cared? Loved? No, that's not right. I still love Ian. Sure. I'll happily tell you about the Ian from the past 4 years. His thin lips curl into a soft smile. Oh, okay, let's get the nicest answer. Alright, he got into an accident and it's our fault, or rather, it's my fault. I'm sorry, Ian. It's all my fault. Ruby red eyes widen. Ian's hands quickly slip away from mine as he recoils in fear. What do you mean? Sitting back and giving Ian space, I fiddle with my hands in my lap. I take a deep breath as I carefully consider my next words. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have left our unit last night and driven out in the rain. You wouldn't have gotten hurt, and you wouldn't have forgotten all the years we spent together. I don't understand. What did you do? I turn away, eyes downcast, squeezing my right hand with my left. My conscience feels like heavy chains coiled around my body, restricting me, punishing me. I made a mistake. I did something terrible, and I regret how dumb and stupid I was. Ian doesn't say anything. I'm sorry. If only I had been able to say those words last night. There's a heavy silence that suffocates the room. The bed sheets rustle as Ian grips them again, before relaxing his fingers and preparing his next words. What did you do? I don't want to tell him the whole truth. At least, not yet. I'm sorry. You keep apologizing because it's all I can do right now. I don't want to keep regretting my mistake and letting it fester within me. Another brief moment of silence follows. So you'll apologize because you regret what you did, but you won't tell me what you're apologizing for? Aren't you just apologizing for your own selfish satisfaction? No, Ian. I catch my tongue. He's doing it again. He takes everything I do and criticizes it, calls me selfish, and makes me out to be the bad guy. Well, in this case, you did cheat. So, if he wasn't like this to begin with, then I wouldn't have... No, stop it, Harper. Stop blaming Ian for your actions. I take a painfully slow, deep breath and exhale. I don't want to fight with him anymore. Not if it's going to lead him to getting hurt like this. I am sorry. I don't know what else to say. Ian's sharp eyes slowly soften, eventually accepting the situation. Fine. I'm not sure what happened, but at least you're willing to admit that you did something. That's a start. For him, it's a start. But for me, we're already past the end. Alright, we sit awkwardly in silence. He's gonna ask us about ourselves and all that. How did we meet? Okay. So this seems to be the same. I will skip ahead. Feels like a lifetime ago. God, how long have I been talking for? Are you okay? Yeah, just remembering how things used to be with you. I inhale a slow breath, gathering enough courage to push the next few words out of my chest with the Ian that I used to know. I'd like to hear more about the Ian that you used to know. For you to cry, you must have really loved me. Him, you must have really cared about him. Cared? Loved? No, that's not right. I still love Ian. Sure, I'll happily tell you about the Ian from the past 4 years. His thin lips curl into a soft smile. Alright, this concludes the end of the current demo. We plan to release an extended demo later this year. Any feedback, critiques, or bug reports would be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in following Moral Retrograde's development, consider following Witpop on itch.io, Twitter, and Discord. They also have a blue sky, just letting you know. You can also support us by checking out our Patreon and Ko-fi pages. To be continued. Will he remember? Alright, before I do my outro, I'm just going to do my channel member shout out real quick. Thank you so much to my channel members for your support. Not only does it help me, it helps the channel grow and the videos keep coming. I truly appreciate it. Now, obviously this was only a demo. This is going to be a hard story to play through, especially the less kind choices. I'm going to assume that Harper will be the yandere if that happens. So that's going to be kind of interesting that we are basically going to be playing a villain if we go down that route. But this was an interesting kind of way to go about the amnesia stuff. Like, obviously the amnesia idea is not entirely new, neither is lying to get back together with the amnesiac, but it is interesting that we are seeing all of this from Harper's eyes, and I really dig that. I am looking forward to the emotional roller coaster that this is definitely gonna be. Anyhow, before I ramble on too long, if you made it this far, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did like it, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of me, please subscribe. I have not been uploading 3 times a week recently, but it used to be my usual, and I'm trying for it again. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye.